Okay, so today we're talking about the Fast Gunner build. So this is just straight. Around about 40k sustain, which is not bad. Million in 3 mags. What you want to do is utilize Fortress Warfare and Wildfire, because what this build excels at is taking down Chaosweavers. So that's what we're going to want to do with this build. So it's only for then that I use it, because in dungeons and stuff, it's not fantastic. So, okay, let me take you through the sequence. If we set up our thing, we mark our target, and then we hit it with and we call our deviation. And our deviation knocks us off target, but that's fine. And he's attacking the wrong dummy. But yeah, then this build does a fair bit more DPS. Just about getting up to 60k. So you can see there, 9, 10k per bullet. And yeah, it's got a lot of bullets in the mag. Of course, magazine capacity helps this one a lot. Yeah, around about 60k. 2 million in 3 mags. So let's go through the gear quick. I don't have much time. So obviously your main gun is the MG4 Predator. You're going to want to calibrate this. I do need to mention all of this armor is uncalibrated, because I don't think that it adds that much. So yeah. You want to use the Fast Gunner. I'm using Rapid Shot. I don't actually recommend Rapid Shot. I just like shooting fast, I have realized about myself, because my Frost build also uses Rapid Shot, which is not exactly the most efficient for it, but I enjoy it because it does help me deal more damage. I feel like, you know, it's a feeling thing there. So on this, you want to go heavy, but this, stabilized, whatever, it all works. Rapid Shot gets that fire rate up, but from what I've seen, it doesn't add much to damage. So yeah, I've gone with double crit rate because you can also do a weak spot build, but when facing the Chaosweaver, there's the only weak spot phase is at the end, so it's not necessary. Go for the crit rate, double crits. This is the calibration that I found, so I used it. If I found it stabilized, I would have used that as well. Wouldn't have made too much of a difference. So as for the weapon mod, you want to go with okay, there's options here. Shooting Blitz is great. Fast Gunner duration +4, and when Fast Gunner is active, +15%. That is a great mod. But then Shootout is also great. Weapon damage +1.5 for 10 seconds, up to 20 stacks, which is really great because that's up to 30% extra damage. So your options are Shootout or then Shooting Blitz. If you've got these substats, Fast Gunner states weapon damage and weak spot damage, then it would be worth it on whichever one you have. This is arguably better. So you want to choose between Shootout and Shooting Blitz based on your substats. Right, for your supporting weapons, you're going to want to go with the Wildfire or the Bingo. That's another option. I don't have a Bingo at the moment. And you want to use the long axe. So you definitely want to add vulnerability amplifier. Here we go. Vulnerability amplifier, that's the one you want. You don't want to use spreading marks for this gun because it's only going to target a single enemy, which is the Chaosweaver. This is the one you want. I just forgot to switch mine out when I was fighting a Chaosweaver now. I'll add some footage of that. And for the long axe, you want to use something like Final Territory, which I have here. Because when Fortress Warfare ends, you get 10% weapon damage. So that's really nice. As for your gear, I'm running 4 Lone Wolf, 1 Bastille, and then I'm also running the Oasis Mask. For all of the mods on your gear, you're going to want weapon damage and crit damage. So preferably Violent, Suffix on all the best helmet mod for this build is going to be momentum up. There's nothing better for this mod, this particular build. So you'll want to look for crit damage and weapon damage. Got pretty lucky with this roll. Got really unlucky with how it upgraded, and it ended up upgrading damage against elite enemies instead of crit damage and weapon damage. So that sucks. On your mask, there's some debate again. Okay, so your options here is you could go with Gunslinger, but this is weak spot damage. So again, it doesn't really apply to the Chaosweaver. So you will want to go with Blitzkrieg, which gives you +5 additional Fast Gunner stacks and additional fire rate +1% for each stack. So you're going to be shooting very fast and dealing tons of damage. And this one is a really, really good one. Sadly, I couldn't get that weapon damage up in the first slot there. But if that had gone up, plus the crit damage one at the end there, plus 20%, that is huge. That's absolutely huge. So yeah, that is a really good mod. I just wish that when in Fast Gunner state, weapon damage was higher. Sadly, we didn't get the good rolls. Right, for your top, I've got Headguard. Why do I have Headguard? Yeah, Munitions Amplifier. That's the one you want. Sadly, I only have one with weak spot damage. So Munitions Amplifier, you actually want crit damage and weapon damage on this if you can get it. That would be the perfect roll. Otherwise, anything you have crit damage and weapon damage on. For example, this could be good if crit damage was a bit higher. I've already fully enhanced that, so it's not going to work. So if you don't have a good gold mod with both of those on, feel free to use this Munitions Amplifier. It's only 9%, but it's good. It'll work. Onto the pants. You're going to want to use Crit Amplifier. This one has got very low weapon damage, some crit damage. Again, really unfortunate on the rolls there. If you have a crit boost with a lot of crit damage, and I mean plus 15%, then by all means go for it. Because this one only gives you plus 15% crit damage anyway. So if you can get a Violent with plus 15, and like this is a pretty good one. It might even work well. But I don't want to give up 6% crit damage, you know. For an extra 5% crit rate, it might be worth it. I'm going to actually use this one with the mag capacity. Because magazine capacity is another focus point for this build. Because the more you have in your mag, the more damage you will deal. Reloading takes a while with this freaking gun, trust me. Finally, on the boots mod, it's the same as always. You either want to use Covered Advance or you want to use Slow and Steady. Whichever has the best substats. As you can see, I have on this one crit damage plus 9% and magazine capacity plus 9.6, which is not bad. I'll take that any day. So yeah, and that is the build, folks. It's very easy to do, very easy to build. For your deviation, you actually have a choice here. So with your butterfly, you could be doing more damage during the last phase of the Chaosweaver with 40% extra weak spot damage. I wouldn't really recommend it for that. I prefer... Oh, hey. All of my deviations have been banished to this little cabin because they keep being in my way in my house, and I've just banished all of them. But my lone wolf's right here by my fridge because that's one of his conditions to keep him happy. So the lone wolf gives you 43.2% additional weapon damage against the attacked target. Which means it has to be attacking the target. I think that's changed because it used to just say weapon damage. But anyway, if you can get it to attack the Chaosweaver and you're close enough, that is a huge boost. However, it doesn't really matter. You can still deal tons and tons of damage with this build against the Chaosweaver. Final thing is the Cradle. You're going to want anti-regen because that adds 15% damage to light machine guns. Tactical combo, very important. Lone Walker or side-by-side is always useful. You want Steady Hand, definitely. Because while in Fast Gunner status, weak spot damage plus 40%. Really helpful against that last phase. And weak spot damage to the bullseye plus 20%. So when you mark with your bingo or your wildfire, you get an additional 20% weak spot damage. Which, again, it's only really helpful in the last phases of the Chaosweaver. Next up, you want Fortress Link, which increases Fortress Warfare's range with an additional damage boost of 5%, which is great. And you've got Bounty Hunter, which gives you 6 stacks of 5% weapon damage. So up to 30% additional weapon damage for 8 seconds. But if you switch weapons, you remove the stacks. So you got to mark and quickly spray them down until it's time to mark again. Fast Pursuit gives you the chance of firing 1 extra bullet in Fast Gunner status. And the higher the stacks, the greater the chance. Each stack adds 1% up to a maximum of 20%. So you're going to get a lot more bullets downrange with this. And those are your core. That's your core Cradle. I went with my last one. I chose Deviant Energy Defense just for the shield. It's pretty helpful when fighting the Chaosweaver because when you call your Deviation, you get the shield so that those little hits that it gives you every now and then get soaked up by the shield, and you don't have to spam activators. You can just tank them out. And that's about all there is to this build. Very simple, very straightforward, very easy to use. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. If you did, consider subscribing, liking the video. It's always helpful. And as usual, drop a comment with your questions down below and I'd be more than happy to help out and respond. I'll see you next time. Bye now.